Discovery and devastation. The quantum engine's low hum reverberated through the Horizon's bridge as Captain Maya Rice studied the holographic display. The exploration vessel's long-range sensors had detected unusual energy signatures emanating from the Cygnus arm of the galaxy, well beyond humanity's previous ventures. "Dr. Santiago, what do you make of these readings?" Maya asked, her dark eyes reflecting the blue glow of the display. Chief Science Officer Elena Santiago adjusted her neural interface, allowing her mind to directly interpret the sensor data. "These patterns are unlike anything." "Captain, we're being scanned," Wright reported, her fingers flying over tactical controls. "Evasive maneuvers. Prepare for emergency hyperspace jump." Maya turned to Solaris. "How many of your people can we evacuate?" The ambassador's lights dimmed to a mournful blue. "Our population number's in the billions. Your vessel could save only a handful, and the Voidborn would pursue any ship bearing Luminar energy signatures." Maya watched in horror as the Voidborn fleet surrounded the Luminar homeworld. Their weapons didn't merely destroy. They seemed to consume, leaving nothing but empty space where magnificent structures had stood moments before. "They're broadcasting something," Tanaka said. It's like they're documenting the extinction." Santiago's voice cut through the stunned silence. "Captain, I've analyzed their weapon signatures. This isn't random destruction. It's a harvesting operation. They're converting Luminar technology and biomass into energy." As the Horizon prepared to jump to hyperspace, Solaris made an unexpected request. "Captain Rice, I must ask one final service for my people. My exoskeleton contains our civilization's archives. Our history, science, art, everything that defined us. I will transfer a copy to your systems." Maya nodded, her jaw tight with anger and grief. "We'll preserve your legacy, Ambassador, and we'll make sure the galaxy knows what happened here." Solaris pulsed with gratitude. "There is more you should know. The Voidborn have long avoided your sector because human physiology is incompatible with their harvesting technology. But now that you've ventured beyond your borders, they will recognize your potential threat." The Horizon barely escaped, a Voidborn pursuit vessel following them to the edge of the system before breaking off. Maya ordered a complex series of hyperspace jumps to ensure they weren't tracked back to Earth. During the journey home, Maya spent hours with Solaris, learning everything possible about the Voidborn, their tactics, technology, and weaknesses. The ambassador's lights grew dimmer each day as the trauma of witnessing their civilization's destruction took its toll. "The Voidborn believe they are the only true form of life," Solaris explained. "All others are merely resources to be consumed. They do not conquer or colonize. They harvest and move on." 3 days before reaching Earth, Solaris's lights flickered for the last time. "Remember us, Captain. Not just our end, but what we created. And know that the Voidborn can be defeated, but not through conventional warfare. Their strength is also their vulnerability. They have never needed to adapt." Earth's reaction to the Horizon's report was swift and unified. The complete destruction of an advanced, peaceful civilization shocked humanity's collective conscience. The Unified Earth Defense Council convened an emergency session, with Captain Rice testifying before representatives from every nation. "The Voidborn represent an existential threat unlike anything we've encountered," Admiral Helena Kwan, head of the Space Force, told the Council. "Their harvesting technology may not work on humans, but conventional weapons still will." The decision was unanimous. For the first time in its history, Earth would prepare for interstellar war, not for conquest or resources, but to avenge the Luminar and ensure humanity's survival. Research facilities around the globe began incorporating Luminar technology with human innovation. The Luminous archives proved invaluable, containing scientific principles that accelerated human development by decades. Shipyards in Earth orbit expanded, constructing vessels designed not for exploration but for combat. 6 months after the Horizon's return, the first of a new class of warships was unveiled, the EDS Retribution. incorporating luminar photonic technology with Earth's most advanced quantum weapons. Admiral Kwan would command the fleet, with Maya Reyes serving as her strategic advisor. As the Retribution prepared for its maiden voyage, Maya stood before a memorial wall bearing a holographic reproduction of the luminar homeworld as it had appeared before the attack. "We should be exploring together," she whispered to the image. "Instead, we're going to war." Admiral Kwan joined her, the older woman's weathered face solemn. "Sometimes the explorer must become the warrior, Captain." The Voidborn believed they were conducting a simple harvesting operation. They thought we'd mourn and hide within our borders. Maya nodded, her expression hardening. Instead, Earth unleashed hell, vengeance, and victory. The command center of the EDS Retribution hummed with activity as Admiral Helena Kwan reviewed the final battle preparations. Behind her, a holographic display showed the positions of 200 Earth vessels, the largest fleet humanity had ever assembled. "Status report," Kwan ordered, her voice calm despite the gravity of the mission. Strategic Operations Officer Captain Maya Reyes stepped forward. "All ships report ready, Admiral. The Voidborn remain unaware of our approach. Our quantum masking technology is functioning perfectly." Kwan nodded, studying the tactical display. The culmination of 6 months of intensive preparation was about to unfold. Earth's scientists had worked tirelessly, combining luminar photonic technology with human quantum mechanics to develop weapons and defenses specifically designed to counter the Voidborn. "Commence Operation Daybreak," Kwan commanded. Throughout the fleet, specially trained crews activated the revolutionary propulsion systems that allowed them to travel through what the Luminar had called light folds, a method of interstellar travel that left no detectable signature. The first target was a Voidborn harvesting outpost on the edge of what had once been Luminar territory. Intelligence gathered from the archives indicated that these outposts served as processing centers where resources from consumed civilizations were converted into energy to fuel further expansion. "Emergence in 30 seconds, announced Navigation Officer Commander Talia Ortiz. All ships synchronized. The Earth fleet materialized simultaneously around the outpost, a massive structure that resembled an obsidian spider web, absorbing all light that touched it. Before the Voidborn could react, the human vessels unleashed their first salvo. Instead of conventional weapons, the ships deployed photonic disruptors, devices that generated precisely calibrated light frequencies that interfered with Voidborn technology. The effect was immediate and devastating. The outpost's energy absorption systems began to malfunction, causing cascading failures throughout the structure. "Phase 1 complete," Reyes reported. "Moving to Phase 2. The second wave of attacks targeted the Voidborn vessels responding to the outpost's distress signals. Unlike the methodical, predictable tactics the Voidborn had used against the Luminar, Earth's fleet employed chaotic, constantly shifting formations that confused the enemy's targeting systems. On the bridge of the Voidborn command ship, Supreme Commander Nexus observed the battle with mounting confusion. The species attacking them was primitive, barely a century into space travel, yet they were countering Voidborn technology with impossible efficiency. "Identify their weapons," Nexus ordered. "Analysis incomplete," responded a subordinate. "They appear to be utilizing principles similar to Luminar technology, but with applications we have never encountered." Nexus processed this information with growing concern. The Voidborn had survived for millennia by harvesting more advanced civilizations, incorporating useful elements while discarding the rest. Their superiority was based on this accumulated knowledge. Yet these humans were using strategies that defied prediction. Back on the Retribution, Admiral Kwan watched as the battle unfolded according to plan. The Voidborn's responses became increasingly desperate as they realized their traditional tactics were ineffective against this new enemy. "They're attempting to adapt," Reyes observed, just as Ambassador Solaris predicted. Kwan nodded. "And that's their weakness. They've relied on technological superiority for so long they've forgotten how to innovate. The Admiral activated the fleet-wide communication system. All vessels, initiate Sunburst Protocol. In perfect synchronization, the Earth fleet executed a maneuver that would have been impossible without the Luminar-enhanced navigation systems. Each ship activated quantum entanglement generators, creating a network of interconnected energy fields that surrounded the Voidborne vessels. Quantum net deployed, reported weapons specialist Dr. Raj Patil. Energy containment at maximum capacity. The net didn't destroy the Voidborne ships. It isolated them, preventing the energy-absorbing technology that was their hallmark from functioning. Cut off from their power source, the vessels began to drift helplessly. They're transmitting, Admiral. Communications Officer Lieutenant Sarah Chen announced. It appears to be a communication attempt. Put it through, Quan ordered. The bridge speakers emitted a series of discordant tones before resolving into a synthesized voice. This conflict is unnecessary. We have no interest in human territories. Quan's expression remained impassive. You destroyed the Luminar civilization, a peaceful species that posed no threat to you. The crystal entities were resources, not civilization. The Voidborne commander responded. As you will soon discover, resistance against the Voidborne is ultimately futile. We have harvested thousands of species more advanced than yours. Maya stepped forward. Supreme Commander Nexus, you fundamentally misunderstand the situation. We're not fighting for territory or resources. We're fighting because you murdered our friends. A pause followed, suggesting confusion or reassessment. The crystal entities established an alliance with you. This is unexpected. You've encountered species that fled from you, Quan replied. Species that hid or surrendered. The Luminar were peaceful, yes. Humans are not. With that, Quan nodded to Patil, who activated the final phase of the attack. The quantum net began to contract, compressing the Voidborne vessels into an increasingly confined space. You cannot destroy us. Nexus transmitted. The Voidborne collective extends across 12 sectors. What you attack is merely a fraction of our force. We're counting on that. Maya responded. We want the rest of your collective to witness what happens when you harvest a species allied with humanity. The quantum compression reached critical density. Instead of destroying the Voidborne ships, the field inverted their energy absorption capability, forcing them to emit rather than consume. The resulting burst of radiation carried a specially encoded message, detailed recordings of the Luminar extinction, followed by footage of the current battle. Broadcast complete, Chen confirmed. Transmission has been received by Voidborne communication nodes across the sector. Admiral Quan stood, addressing the Voidborne commander directly. Supreme Commander Nexus, you have a choice. The quantum field currently neutralizing your fleet can be reconfigured to destroy it entirely. Or you can agree to our terms. The Voidborne do not negotiate with resources, Nexus responded, though with noticeably less certainty. We're not asking you to negotiate with resources, Maya countered. We're giving you the opportunity to negotiate with us instead of facing extinction yourselves. Hours later, on the neutral ground of an abandoned space station, Admiral Quan and Captain Rice faced Supreme Commander Nexus across a hastily established conference area. The Voidborne leader's physical form was disconcerting, a humanoid shape composed of shifting dark matter that seemed to absorb the light around it. Your terms are unprecedented, Nexus stated. No species has ever demanded reparations from the Voidborne. No species has ever been in a position to do so, Quan replied. Our demands are simple. Immediate cessation of all harvesting operations, withdrawal from former Luminar territory, and transfer of technology that can restore damaged ecosystems. You assume temporary tactical advantage equals strategic superiority, Nexus observed. The Voidborne have existed for millennia. We will outlast your species. Maya activated a holographic display showing Earth's continued military buildup. Perhaps, but we've shared our technology with 17 other spacefaring civilizations in neighboring sectors. Even if you eventually defeat humanity, you'll face an alliance of species prepared for your tactics. For the first time, the Supreme Commander showed signs of genuine concern. You have fundamentally altered the balance of this sector. That was the intention, Quan stated flatly. The age of harvesting is over. Adapt or face extinction. The choice is yours. 3 months later, Maya stood in the observatory of the horizon, now recommissioned as a diplomatic vessel. Below, on the surface of a terraformed moon, representatives from 22 species gathered to formalize the Interstellar Cooperative, a mutual defense alliance established in the wake of the Voidborn conflict. The site had been chosen deliberately. This moon had once been a smaller Luminar colony, now being restored using technology the Voidborn had surrendered as part of the peace agreement. Admiral Quan joined her, gazing down at the gathering. Ambassador Reyes, the ceremony is about to begin. Maya smiled at her new title. It still doesn't feel real. 6 months ago, we were facing potential extinction. Now we're helping establish a new galactic order. The Voidborn made a critical miscalculation, Quan observed. They assumed all species would react as others had before, with fear and resignation. They thought we'd mourn, Maya agreed. Instead, Earth unleashed hell, Quan finished, and in doing so, may have finally brought peace to this corner of the galaxy. As they prepared to join the ceremony, Maya paused at a memorial displaying a preserved fragment of Ambassador Solaris' exoskeleton. The crystal shard pulsed faintly with blue light, a final gift from the Luminar scientist who had worked with human researchers to ensure their legacy would endure. We remembered, Maya whispered to the fragment. Not just your end, but what you created. In the distance, the first rays of the system's sun crested the horizon, casting prismatic reflections through the restored Luminar structures. For the first time since witnessing the genocide, Maya felt something beyond grief and vengeance, hope for a future where strength meant protection rather than destruction. Humanity had proven itself not just through superior firepower or technology, but through something the Voidborn could never comprehend: the power of alliance, adaptation, and righteous fury in defense of those who could not defend themselves. The galaxy would never be the same again.